We got bombarded with a lot of comments yesterday on our take on the whole Rashee Rice stuff. I don't know if you guys saw some of the comments we were getting, but nonetheless, we're gonna kind of address some of those comments here tonight. But I want to start off with saying, if you guys haven't seen it, Rashee Rice has kind of broke silence on the entire incident. He went on his Instagram and posted a story, and he put, "Today I met with Dallas PD investigators regarding Saturday's accident. I take full responsibility for my part in this matter and will continue to cooperate with the necessary authorities. I sincerely apologize to everyone impacted in Saturday's accident. Signed, Rashee Rice." JD, obviously we got some comments yesterday from people who may be new to the show, new to us in general, but they were saying that we didn't really take a heavy-handed approach as far as condemning Rashee Rice. So I thought we did. I just think we just talked about the aspect of, like, he's a young guy. I mean, shit happens essentially. And we've got, I'm curious, JD, I want to hear some of your commentary to some of the comments we got yesterday from our take.
Well, look, you know me, okay? I'm going to try to be as sober as I can in my assessment of everything. And I think we were, pretty full-throated in condemning the actions of anybody who was all involved. Didn't matter if it was him or anybody else. Completely condemned the actions of it. So I don't know how anybody got anything else less than that. I don't think that we were going to take an approach to just dropping an anvil on a guy to say that we should blow up his career. He doesn't deserve a second chance. Don't give him grace and all those different. We're just not on that boat. We're just not. It didn't make any sense to do that. And one of the things I was saying is, through this message that you see, he's going to be held accountable. He's going to take responsibility for his actions and what he was involved with. And it could be something that is retroactively coming back to it and doing things, but he's still going to take account for it, right? And that's the important thing. Everybody wants him to be held accountable for whatever thing his part in this whole act. I don't think anybody disputes that. We certainly don't, right? We certainly said, if anything, he should be able to face the music. My thing is, kind of with some of the things that I was responding to on the comments were, I hope he has people around him who's going to hug him up, okay? And understand that, you know what? This was a poor decision that he made or whatever it was, his friends made, all of those different things. But you don't abandon the guy. You should never do that. Okay, the more important thing is, how does he respond to this, and how does people around him respond to it? Yes, it could have been bad. Yes, people could have been killed. Yes, things could have happened worse than that. But I don't say the consequences of things determines the things if there's still a mistake or a bad decision. Right? A mistake is defective in judgment. Okay, let's get that right, because somebody was trying to argue mistake is, why do we put things as a mistake? Why don't we just say it's a bad decision, bad choice? Well, the mistake is a bad choice. It's a bad decision, however you want to look at it. Now, are there levels to mistakes? Sure, there is. But regardless of it, it's a defect in judgment. So his judgment in the situation wasn't a good thing. We understand that. But because he had consequences or something didn't happen, we can sit there and say other people make bad judgment and bad choices and bad decisions. And in my mind, I was sitting there thinking, when I was driving down to my mom's today, I'm like, I wonder how many people, just on percentage wise, right? And this is not really to sparingly say to something, but I think it is part of like self-reflection. How many people may leave a game from the Chiefs Stadium or whatever, or any stadium for that matter, that may have had a drink, maybe some alcohol, right? Or I don't know, maybe something else. Is that a bad choice and a bad decision? Where some of us feel like we may be able to get away with it. Maybe we feel like, hey, you know what? I'm good to go. Even though we understand that alcohol may have some bearings on the way that we drive, maybe our reaction time, we still may feel that we may be able to get out of it. So I don't think, if we don't use some type of self-reflection to have some type of empathy for him, I think that's the bad look. And some of the people I was sitting there talking to, who came out with full-throated vitriol upon, Rashee Rice, and then talking about all the things they said about him, he's a dirtbag, this, all this. Hey, man, look, bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. He caught in a situation that was wrong. Okay, so everybody understands. Feel wrong about it, right? We understand that it was whatever would happen was wrong. Well, another thing we wanted to do was reserve part of what we said because we didn't know the full details of everything going on. I even said to one guy, I'm like, I didn't even know you was part of the investigation. Matter of fact, when you come out in when they do the report, okay, when they have the scene, I want you to wave in the back so I know what part was where you was in the investigation. I want you to wave to everybody, okay? I just want to see your face because I didn't know you was part of the investigation. So everybody's coming out with all these different details on things that they don't even know. They don't. So my thing is, while we're sitting over here with some people, I'm going to say some, with this full-throated, throw Rashee Rice away and his career away, and he's the terrible person in the world, how about you reserve all of that later and your disdain for him a little bit later? More importantly, why don't you show this guy, amount of grace that you should be able to show him, okay? Because that thing is important too. So here's a kid that, from all purposes, we know is in a bad place right now, okay? We could tell, like at least in his apology or in his statement, that he is remorseful and he is willing to take full responsibility into that. That's very important that he's doing it, okay? And you could say, well, it's too late for that, or he should have did it then. Yes, right. But how many people at the time when things are happening think about these things, okay? When it's happening, we immediately know, like when things happen to people, sometimes people don't think clearly. They just don't, because it's so out of bounds in their mindset that this thing happened, they don't know what to do. They don't. So Marcus, and I know you, me and you both want to reserve piling on this guy when they don't need to, right? Yes, we hold him accountable for that. Absolutely. Do we condemn his action? Absolutely. No doubt about it. But in this the whole same frame of it is, we got to take into accord, that this guy is somebody who's a human being that needs people around him during this time. So that's what we got to understand. That's the reason I wore this shirt. You see this right here? So everybody's seen this, right? Each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. That is a fact. That is a fact. Each of us are better than that. We are more than the worst thing that we ever done. So if this may be the worst thing he's ever done, hey man, he's more than that, okay? And we could show him grace, just a human element, to have him give him some empathy and some sympathy during this time, okay? So I think we need to do much better on doing these things, regardless of who it is, right? Until these things come out. It don't matter if he's in a Chiefs uniform or whoever it is. I think we need to just really, really, kind of come down, man, and bring it down. Not to say that we shouldn't be upset with these things, because we should. We condemn those things, absolutely. But also, too, in lieu of all the things that have happened, we do need to see some type of support for Rashee Rice as well.
Yeah, and our heart also goes out to all the people who are impacted by it. I know people were upset that I may have misspoke, and I said there were no injuries. I didn't mean no injuries. I meant no life-threatening injuries. No one was in critical condition from me. Based on all the reports that we've seen, no one wasn't, and thank God for that. So I got some crap for saying that. I misspoke. What I meant was no life-threatening injuries and nobody in critical condition as far as we know. Nothing's been reported as such, and thank God for that. So that I do want to say that. And yeah, we condemned him leaving the scene. He should have never left. And we also condemned the fact that he was a part of what appeared to be street racing at 6 p.m. in Dallas. We also condemned that as well. So like, as far as that, that's all the facts that we know. And still though, and I think someone was like, well, in the TMZ video, someone said, oh, there's guns in the car. We don't know that. Police haven't said that. Someone filming with the phone saying that, it's like, okay, I'm not going to listen to some person narrating. If we find out that was the case, okay. But we don't know that. Still, we don't know.
Yeah, we deal with it then. And they'll deal with it accordingly, right? As they should. So we're not saying he shouldn't have his feet held to the fire, right? He's saying he should be held responsible. Everybody else is sitting there saying he should have been held responsible. That's why they were searching for him, because of all the things that happened. So my thing is, when people are saying different things, nobody knows these things. They don't know until these things come out, the evidence. That's why I was sitting there saying, I told some dude, I said, hey man, listen, you have proven, you have said that you have done things in the past. You made poor decisions. Now, did you start making poor decisions when you was just young, or are you still making poor decisions and mistakes? I'm sure it's still happening. If not, I said maybe you don't want your angel wings ain't allowing you to touch the ground with the rest of us. You know what I mean? You know, you come down here to earth with your halo on, you know, and your garment not to be touched. Hey, what's going on? You know, so for the rest of us who are down here sinful and make mistakes and all those different things, these things, you know, it's a part of life that nobody wants to live. The tragedy of it, okay? Nobody. There is reconciliation there, okay? We need to understand that. And so that's the most important thing is when you move forward, you know, when you move forward, where are you moving forward to? What are you doing? All right. And so I don't know. I think people just want to come in, oh, he's a dirtbag and he needs to be done and that blah, 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 and such. Hey man, if you're looking for that type of response for us, I don't think you know who we are. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you who I am. I am a sinner saved by grace. Okay. And thank God, you know, I have somebody that saved me from all these things, these sin things I have. I know it. I know the things that I've done in the past. Okay. I know I've made bad decisions in the past, poor decisions. Hey, guess what? I'm not done with it. Marcus, I guarantee I'll probably make another mistake or a bad decision. Okay. Maybe unknowingly. But I tell you what, as a man who's lived my life to the time to where I am right now, what I can do and what I'm in a position to do, what I'm doing right now is actually talking to younger people. I'm helping them with the blueprint with life. I'm telling them how they can live life a little bit better, how they can make better decisions about their life. Okay. Not that you're going to be perfect, but maybe you can have a full throttle and awareness about all the things around you, about what's going on. Hopefully that will keep them from making the mistakes and seeing some of these pitfalls that's out here right now. So that's how I feel about it. That's where I am with it. So if this is not okay with you, to say, well, JD should have been pounding on this guy, he didn't give enough of an elbow to, and he probably should have suplexed him on whatever it is. Hey man, I'm gonna tell you who I am. Okay, all right. So I'm thankful. I praise God for, believe me, I say it all the time. I am thankful. Praise God for him. All right. So hopefully we give it grace.
Yeah, and I think at some point it's not just this Rashee Rice thing. I think just in general, overall, when it comes to athletes, it seems like the public discourse is that we expect more from 23-year-old, 22-year-old kids, 23-year-old guys than our elected officials. And at some point, it's like, and I know we don't talk politics here. We don't get into any of that. That's for other channels or other networks and stuff. But it's funny that like it appears sometimes we expect more from these 22-year-old guys just out of college than we do the people we vote for. And it's just like, what's going on? I mean, what's wrong? I mean, like, I don't know. I just people like you said, JD, people need to give him some grace. And we also, beyond that, we need to figure out the facts of this whole thing. Because as of right now, all we know and what we've condemned is that he left the scene of a hit and ran.
Yes,
was a part of that, and he was a part of racing on the highway. And those two are bad, and we call that out. That's all we know right now. So to say, oh, cut him, get him out of the league, no place for that. It's like, okay, that's and if someone called me out for saying I call people out for overreacting, yes, cutting him for all we know, that's overreaction. So and I stick to
that. I think sometimes, man, it's just a bad look when you turn your back on people, especially in times when they're at their worst. I think it is, because then it's even a spiral down, even worse than something like that. Guy, and I said, here's a guy who's been on this high of winning these past year. You get drafted, you're close to your hometown, you just won a Super Bowl, you want to celebrate a little bit, all these different things, right? Hey, man, at 22 years old, 23 years old, when we know psychologists say it, everything is, you're not developed all the way through, right? In your mentality, okay, decision making. Things, man, it's a bad situation all the way around, man. But I no doubt about it. Put your arms around him at this moment. He'll get better, and we got to make sure we're doing that too, man. So, Yeah, that's all I wanted to say, brother. That's it.
The people who were hurt by this, who are in the hospital, I don't know if they still are, but I hope for a speedy recovery. And again, thank God there weren't life-threatening injuries in this, because it could have very well gone that way, but it didn't.
Right. And they need some type of, the justice and reconciliation that they deserve. Okay. To be held accountable for the things that have they been wronged. Right. No doubt about that. So, like I said, man, as a father of 4 children, all right, and a coach of a lot of young men, right, I see the landscape, and everybody don't do a lot of things. They make mistakes. This is when I come in. This is when I intervene. I try to intervene before these things do happen. All right, and hopefully, like I said, it'll extinguish some of these things from happening. But people live their life, man. Things do happen, man. But I thank everybody. I see people in the chat saying the same thing. If you live life, man, you learn and you live and you want to do better. And so we hope he learned it, he's living, he's doing better. It's humility that he's got to deal with right now, And I know sometimes this somberness that he has will take hold of him, all right? Take hold of him. And I hope he goes to these families, whatever happened, like I said, still trying to get all the details, man, and he makes amends with them somehow, some way with these things, man. But it's just a bad situation. Nobody wants to be in this. Nobody wants to.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.